Oh. 1 second. Okay. Streaming for 15 seconds now. Sorry about that. Alright. It is Friday, November 11th, 2024 at 5:07 p.m. Central Standard Time, no longer Daylight Time. And here we are in Fallout 76. So I'm going to give you all some quick updates on upcoming lore videos, and then we'll just get into doing some stuff around here. So, I have finally gotten the character that I need for the Mothman Cult lore video, and that is Steven Scarberry here.
When I look at you, I see darkness. Would you like me to light up your way?
You can have him give you a blessing that increases your experience by 5%. He's an aspiring member of the Mothman Cult. I mean, honestly, he's basically one, but he doesn't really, like, seem to want to go along with it fully until he gets to meet the Mothman. But anyway, so let's go ahead and start doing some stuff. Specifically, I want to actually max out my rep with the Raiders, even though I've already done it with the Settlers at this point, so... okay, so upcoming lore videos. Again, Mothman Cult lore video. I now finally have the character that I need that I did not have. Along with that, the RepCon lore video. That's going to be the next lore video. Now, unfortunately, this past week I have not gotten to work on that as much as I would have liked to. I've been doing stuff around the house. Specifically, I've been actually basically renovating a bathroom. I actually was doing that last week as well, if anybody showed up for the Friday stream last week. I had basically just like, I think, had I taken off the vinyl yet? Yeah, because I took the last Friday off. Well, over the past weekend and week, I have basically scraped the floor down to remove all the vinyl glue, and basically the top layer of concrete too, I think, is what I ended up doing. And then laid down some quick level, and now I put down some of this like separating sheet that makes it so that even if the floor underneath cracks, the tile doesn't crack. And so next up is tiling. So the actual final tiling point is what I'm down to now. So let's do this down here. So, but that's again what I've been doing this past week. That's why I have not gotten as far in RepCon as I would like to have. But I have still been working on it off and on. Let's see, importance of communication, and let's see where we're going. Oh, Wavy Willards. Not bad. Okay. But again, still, it's always been on my mind. And then again, after that, so it's going to be RepCon, then the Mothman Cult video, then the Fallout 3 Metro video. And at that point, I will then, once I'm actually working on the Fallout 3 Metro video, I'll put out a proper poll on the Discord. Which, if you're not a member of the Discord, you should be, because it's the easiest way to get in contact with me if you've got any comments or any questions, or if you want to recommend a video or anything like that. But that's where I'm going to be putting in the poll for what you want the next video to be about. And again, like I said in the past, I'm going to stop doing it to where it's like one video from Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas 4, 76, or Starfield. Instead, it's going to be, the next video is going to be on, in this case, I don't know exactly what I'm going to make it on just yet, but let's say that I'm going to make it on Fallout 4. I'm going to say, okay, next video is in Fallout 4. Do you want it to cover the Gunners? Do you want to cover, let's see, what's that? Every time I come back to saying the name of this place, I keep for Covenant, I believe is the name of it. Do you want it to cover, have I covered all the towns? I don't think I've covered all the towns yet. There's probably, again, so you're seeing right here in process, me trying to figure out exactly what potential categories I would use. But yeah, I'm sure there are still at least a couple towns. In fact, Jamaica Plain is a town. I've not covered that. West Roxbury is also a town that I have not yet covered that's in the game. Boston itself, obviously. But anyway. So again, it'll be that sort of thing. And then it'll be like the next video will be what would you like to see in Fallout 3? Where it's like covering Canterbury Commons or covering Paradise Falls or... You know, so, yeah, so that's basically what you got to look forward to at the moment. The Mass Fusion video did okay, not terribly great, which was, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's slightly disappointing, but it's also, it's one of those things where it's like, it's numbers that I would have loved a few years ago, but not great for now. Especially, God, it's one of those things where it's like you get a spike in viewership on something, and it kind of makes you look down on all the rest of your videos. And so, like, what I got on Vault 111 or on the ECS Constant and Starfield basically makes all the rest of my videos look quite piddly by comparison. But anyway. And I will say, I'm always looking for any sort of recommendations. If anybody has like anything that they think that I could do better in terms of my videos. Always looking for feedback. Let's see here. Can I jump out of that? No. I just have Marsupial, not Marsupial in my Fallout world. Oh, I've actually already got all of them anyway, so I can just fast travel back over there. One thing I definitely am considering doing is some sort of voice acting workshop. Just because I've noticed so much more whenever I'm doing recording how much my voice will vary from take to take. And so if I could find some way to more just kind of lock down what I'm sounding like, I think that would be a nice thing to do. Also, I know I don't I don't do everything right in that kind of area, because I've watched a few YouTube videos on people talking about how to do that kind of stuff, and some of the things I don't do, and one of them for a specific reason. In fact, basically, I saw something about kind of like, you know, aligning your chest and, you know, sitting up straight and saying things, and like I've done something like that before, and it was a couple of years ago. Year and a half ago at this point, I was doing this where I'd sit like this, and in order to like really make sure I was projecting, I'd keep my hands back like this, and I actually ended up pulling something in my chest, some sort of muscle, that made it hard to breathe for like 3 days. And I don't know. I mean, I was 33 at the time, I'm now 34, so you'd think that maybe I was a little bit farther away from reaching the point where I can do stuff like that to myself, but apparently not. Let's see, let's turn this in, and maybe this is all that I need. If not, I'll go ahead and go get the photography quest.
I take it your presence here.
On the house.
I'll make sure your pro bono.
Is that gonna be it?
Doesn't
Come
go unnoticed
on.
Next time I talk to Meg. Next time you feel.
Did that do it? That did it! There we go! Allies with Praetor and with the settlers. Now, I have already done that before, but not on this character. So I now have 2 characters that have reached ally status with both groups. So that's what I had to do to buy Steven Scarberg in this character. Let's see, let's
Anyone
see
ever
what
dig
gold
up
I've
an
got
axe
here.
wall? Guess
Yeah, not much on this guy at this point.
Fresh skulls from up in the core.
But yeah, so again, that's just kind of generally what I've had going on. Again, mostly it's been tiling work. Now, my current goal is to get the RepCon video done by Friday. And after that, again, work on the Mothman Cult video. Which I'm looking forward to getting through that one. Just because there's some interesting stuff I want to talk about there. Specifically, not just the Mothman cults, but the other cults of Appalachia. Specifically, the one that worships the interloper. Let's see here. Because part of it is that I want to actually look into it more deeply. Because there's just some stuff there that I have not delved into deeply enough. And I want to know... for my own reasons, you know, for my own sake, I want to understand that stuff better. Because there's, like, some weird... kind of like timeline stuff that I still kind of want to resolve in my head and things like that. Let's go to the other character at this point. Because again, I don't need to do any more dailies because now I've gotten to where I need to be. Back to the Fallout world. But like specifically at Lucky Hole Mine, it's clear that there was basically a cult that got into the mine before the end of the world. Because basically the mine was retired, or mothballed, what would be the proper terminology for this? Abandoned due to dropping dropping extraction rates. I don't know what the proper terminology is for that here. They weren't getting enough to financially justify keeping the mine open, I believe, is basically the situation there. But regardless, basically there was some creepy people that kept breaking into the mine, and eventually the mine workers were like, look, it's yours, keep it. We'll leave you alone. And then it was basically on the day of the bombs, or the day prior, or over that night, that the Mothman cultists from Point Pleasant showed up. Alright, let's check what the challenges are for today, because I've not even done this stuff for the past few days. Let's see, revive players... Wait, how... Oh! Sorry, that's, that's in the social category. I was looking at daily and I was like, wait, how did I revive 31 players in the last week if I haven't really been doing this stuff? Okay, let's see here. Got a scrap junk to produce springs. I hear somebody shooting. Collect 3 teddy bears, kill a honey beast. Oh, scorched. Oh, that's the weekly challenge there. Is that it? Just the one? I hate that. I'm gonna turn off that Halloween sound thing if I can find it. I always... Let's see. Try... There it is. I kind of hide it. And now it's... I can't highlight it. Okay, the sound's still there. I don't know what to do about that. Anyway, though. What the hell? What just happened? The generator blew up. Okay, so there are more scorched. They were just not making any noise. I have to ask why exactly they would just start attacking random stuff here, and I just scrapped that when I intended to repair it, but it is what it is. Yeah, okay. Teddy bears, I feel like... Right. I'll go to my go-to source for teddy bears, Flatwoods, for at least a couple of them. Hope y'all have been having a good week. Hope you're ready for the weekend like I am, or... I don't know. I'm ready for the weekend. If you all are as well, then good, because it's finally here. Let me see here, 1 second. Sorry, I need to do something on my phone real quick. Alright, done. Okay. So, for me, currently, my plans outside of working on lore videos include finishing tiling a bathroom floor, installing a toilet and a sink, and I think my wife wants me to put wainscoting in there as well, so I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Let's see. Teddy bear. There we go. That's 2 of them. Now I got to think about where to find another one. It's one of those things where you see them all the time, but it's not necessarily something that you remember seeing. Or remember where they are. I mean... Anyway, let's, I figure... Oh, actually I do know where I could find 3. Let's just go up to Clancy Manor. Alright. So in terms of Fallout 76, just thinking about what I have left to cover here, because they're of course adding stuff all the time, and I should probably at some point do some sort of update video to the Blue Ridge Caravan now that they've had basically a dedicated update. They've actually had a couple of updates that brought with them content specific to the Blue Ridge Caravan. So again, I got a few faction update lore videos. Specifically, though, I think Blue Ridge Caravan's really the most important one of those, just because it's the one that has had the most added to it. The responders are back, but I've talked about this before. There's just not that much to talk about with the new folks, because other than interacting with them occasionally at the White Spring or at their new little outpost down here at Gilman Lumber Mill, there's just really not too much to talk about there. 1 second, let's see what the other ones were. Honey Beast, mutated enemies. I'm just gonna...
On the great day of reckoning, the worthy.
Let's see here. Cripple a mole miner's head. Honey Beasts, though. I know where I've seen them before, but it's one of those things where it's like I feel like it's kind of a random thing they showed up there. I don't know. We'll find out.
Through the darkness to his
But-
divine light.
Trying to think if there was... Oh, yeah. The other videos in 76. I was trying to remember where I was going with that. Charleston. I need to do a video on Charleston. That's the only town I haven't done a video on. I also want to redo my videos on... what are they? Clarksburg, Welch, Beckley. And I think that's it in terms of towns. I also want to redo my video on the Dire Chemical Massacre. I think, again, the main issue with these oldest videos, and with the ones on Watoga as well, the ones with Watoga specifically, I was speaking way too fast in those videos. And I've discovered that I can actually speak fairly quickly in videos, so long as I make sure that my voice is clear and that I'm not slurring words together and things like that. But I was definitely not paying attention to that. I was, at that point in time, wait, I need to cripple heads. I was just trying to get through what I was saying as quickly as possible. And these days I definitely take a more leisurely approach to the reading the lines. So it's less of an issue where I end up slurring the words. For example, the New Atlantis lore video, I read that over the course of 2 days. Now, of course, that ended up being recording sessions that were 3 hours long. Something like that, to put out a hour and 20-minute long video. But probably should only have 2.5 hours each. 2 to 2.5. Anyway, let's see. Alright, Honey Beast. Where I've seen them before outside of events are places like the Seneca Rocks Visitor Center is a place I remember seeing one. But again, it's a question of whether or not it was there because that's a Honey Beast spawn point or because that's like a creature spawn point. And you can have any number of things pop up there. Let's find out. I feel like I've seen them out here on the road before, and then I've also seen them up in the parking lot of the hotel here. I saw that Mass Effect is getting a television show produced by Amazon, which, I don't know. I still have fear about any property being turned into a television show, and especially one that I love as much as Mass Effect. Like, seriously, Mass Effect is outside of, like, the, so I think Bethesda produces my favorite games of all time, but outside of that, Mass Effect is definitely top tier. There was a point in time where all of my favorite games were being developed by companies that started with B. BioWare, Bungie, Bethesda. I feel like there's another one there, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Then, of course, Bungie lost Halo. And I played Destiny a little bit, but I just never really got into it. Oh, Blizzard. That was the other B. There we go. Yeah, no Honey Beast here this time. Let me look up real quick and see if there's a specific spot where they spawn. Because, again, it's either that or you go around looking for creature spawns that you've potentially found before. But yeah, I mean, after the Fallout TV show, I've got more confidence that they can get the setting right. But it's always a question of, like, will they do, like, my main problem with the Fallout TV show was the writing. The plot just did not, like, it was quite implausible at times. Let's see. Yes, I know there are several events where, and so seriously, fandom, terrible, terrible website. Just because of the ads. Okay, locations. I don't know if I believe that one. Middle Mountain Pit Stop is no longer... Isn't this now a, no, wait. Yeah, this is now what's it called? Blue Ridge Caravan Site, isn't it? So again, if you never watched any of my reviews of the Fallout TV show, my main problem with that again was the writing. And but yes, so just like I thought, this is a Blue Ridge Caravan site now. Now it's an event site, so there's not generally all that much going on here in terms of people walking around. But this needs to be updated on the wiki is the main thing here. Unmarked cave northeast of Freddy Fear's House of Scares. Let's check on that. So the plot where it's like, okay, so when you first watch the show, when you watch the first episode, and again, so sorry to back out a little bit, the show is great when you're just watching it episode to episode to episode and you're not really thinking about what's going on in the background. And so when you watch the first episode and you see the raiders come breaking into Vault 33, is it 33? Jeez Louise. Is it 32? Good lord. I produced like 10 videos on this. And I seriously I probably watched the whole series like 5 times. Anyway, regardless, when they first break it into the vault, it's like, oh my gosh, raiders. And then later you're like, wait a minute. Why was Moldaver there with the raiders? And then it's like, okay. Well, why wouldn't she just bring soldiers with her? If she's doing... And then it's like, wait... she's got these 2 things that are absolutely 100% necessary for her plans, which are getting the key, like the code, sorry, from Hank, and she also desperately needs the cold fusion device from what's his name? God, seriously, this is embarrassing. I spent so much time watching that show and putting all this stuff together. The doctor. I cannot remember why. I can't remember the doctor's name. She needed the cold fusion device out of his neck. She needed Hank's code. But while she went to go pick up Hank by himself, she just kind of left the doctor to couriers, effectively. I mean, like, she technically paid for his passage, but, like, why not? The vault... Yes, it is 33. The vault is literally, it's right next to, oh my god. Philly. God. I don't know if I'm just having some brain fog today or something. I don't know. Unmarked cave, either it's significant, is it over here? Let's go look northeast, because sometimes bloatfly, that little bloatfly area, maybe that's where it is. Siggy Wilzig is the doctor's name. Some of it's starting to come back. I just haven't thought about it in a little while. But again, why would she have not just waited in Philly for Dr. Wilzig to come by? It's above the sunflower on the map, north of it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Teo Flavio? I apologize if I mispronounced your name, though. Teo Flavio? I'm going to go to the sunflower and go north from there if I don't find it there. Bottom of the hill here. Well, welcome to the stream. Hope you've been having a good week. Let's see. There might be something over here. So yeah, again, she breaks into the vault, but halfway between Myers Eye. Am I missing something here? Ow! Have I been there before? There's definitely some content that's come in recently that I've missed while I've been working on other lore videos. I'm going to assume that it's maybe where that, like, kill a bloatfly. Yes, there it is. Now, before I kill this thing, let me make sure it's not something where it's like I've got to befriend it. Let's see, challenges. Kill a honeybeast. Okay. Done. But yeah, she breaks into Vault 33 from Vault 32. Thank you again for that. That really helps. But her whole goal was to get an employee from Vault-Tec, basically part of Bud's Buds, to give her the code so that she could get in, basically activate the cold fusion. So, again, she breaks into Vault 32, which she's able to open thanks to the fact that she has Rose's Pip-Boy. Let's see what the other challenges are and get on that. Sell a shotgun to a vendor, junk scrap to Bruce Springs. Let's just go down here for this. But yeah, so she, again, breaks into Vault 32 using Rose's Pip-Boy. And it's like, okay, so I basically, I tried to steel man the whole thing in my video, where it's like, okay, so she goes over there knowing that Hank's in 33, but she can't get into 33 because, like, again, I in steel manning it, I'm like, okay, so when Rose is thought to be killed by Hank, he then, you know, goes ahead and he's like, okay, I want to make sure no one can use that Pip-Boy, so he blacklists it from getting into Vault 33. So she can't get into Vault 33, so she's like, okay, I'll try the neighboring vault, Vault 32. So she goes over to that one, manages to get inside, which why Hank wouldn't have told 32 about the issue there, I don't understand it. Shotgun. Let's go with that. But anyway, she gets in there, and then it just, she happens to be there at exactly the right time for the Triennial Trade Raid. I'm glad that you like my videos. And yeah, again, I love the Fallout TV show. I have an issue with the writing. And I will say that absolutely, if anybody out there who is producing television shows needs somebody to do, like, what's it called? I specifically learned the term for it, but production design. If you're looking for someone who knows production design, look for the person that did production design for the Fallout TV show, because they nailed the atmosphere completely in terms of the look of everything, all the props, the vault suits, all that stuff was perfect. My problem again was with writing in terms of like the logic that's involved with it. So she happens to be there just in time for the Triennial Trade Raid. Let's just go do some looting in order to hopefully find something with springs. Trying to think of what has springs, and scales keep popping into my mind, but I don't think that I'm... How about we go to the NIRA? She just happens to be in time for the Triennial Trade Raid. And then she comes in there, nobody bothers, like, Hank doesn't understand, like, Hank doesn't have any reason to... Hank somehow doesn't know that she's not who he should be looking for. Again, it's like, oh no, we were so sad to see that this other person had died. It's like, the guy's been dead for like 2 years, you weren't talking in between then and now? How exactly did Bud Askins not know what was going on within Vault 32? How did he not know that it had failed? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked that. I'm going to eventually do some videos on Fallout 1 and 2 as well. I just have to actually... I got to figure out the best way to actually do that, because recording the footage in there... I'm sure I've seen this before. Yeah. No, I've definitely seen this before. Military ammo bag. Always going to grab that. Well, except for this character doesn't need to. Basically, with Fallout 1 and 2, the aspect ratio is always weird because it's such an old game. It was made for CRT monitors. And then along with that... Jeez Louise. I'm getting so much weird lag and stuff right now. Anyway, yeah, and then also the fact of the matter is that the game has 10 save files, and it's one of those things where it's like, when I make videos on the games outside of Fallout 76, I'm constantly loading old save files to, like, you know, redo scenes to make sure I get the scenes in the proper shot and stuff like that. So yeah, it's absolutely something that I need to look into, exactly how to maybe get more save files. I don't know if I just need to take it upon myself to copy the files into a backup or something like that when I'm not using them, but I'll figure it out eventually, and I will get to making Fallout 1 and 2 lore videos at some point. For now, though, I still have at least a half dozen more topics to cover in 76, and I would say dozens to cover in Fallouts 3, New Vegas, and 4. New Vegas, again, RepCon, that's the next one. Jeez Louise. Seriously, what is going on right now? Do I have a bunch of files openers? No. I mean, I have Microsoft Excel open right now other than this. And if that's what's causing the lag, that's crazy. Let's see. There we go. Typewriter's probably got some springs in it. Broken camera, maybe. Let's go do some scrapping. Well, more telephones. I think telephones might. I think desk fans have screws in them, which is what I typically go after desk fans for. But yeah, so again, there's a lot of plot conveniences in the Fallout TV show. The writing could be much improved. But I love the show's production design. I love all the characters. So I'm definitely looking forward to Season 2. I'm just hoping, again, that they do a little bit better with the writing. Okay. Let's head up here. And again, I started off talking about this because I'm looking forward to the Mass Effect TV show. But again, with a little bit of trepidation, because there are so many franchises that have been done so wrong. And again, what I talked before about Bungie being one of my favorite developers is because of Halo. Halo was like one of my first big like science fiction games that I played. And I loved the universe up through 3. 4 is like I played it once. I don't remember the story of it almost at all. And then 5, I got a bunch of games all at the same time because I went to like a Black Friday thing, and like Halo 5 was one of the ones I got for pretty cheap. And I didn't get more than about an hour into that one, and I had other games to play, and there wasn't really anything that drew me back to 5. So I've never actually beaten 5. I don't know, maybe it's good and I just don't know it. But yeah, I feel like after the end of the original trilogy, I just did not have as much interest in Halo as I had had before. And the Halo TV show was just... I mean, when your showrunners come out and they say that they've never played the games, and it's like, you shouldn't be saying that. That's being like, yeah, we made a television show about a book, but we didn't read the book. Which, honestly, probably could be said for iRobot, the movie. Let's see here. No springs at all. What do we find springs in? I'm just not remembering it. Oh, clipboards. Clipboards have springs. And there's a site that has a lot of clipboards, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Well, schools are generally a good spot for that, so let's try up there. But yeah, the Fallout TV show was just not good. I've never gotten into Wheel of Time at all or anything like that, but I've heard from a lot of people that the Wheel of Time TV show was just not good. The Witcher TV show really went off the rails. Rings of Power is just like, the lore is so screwed up in that one. And again, maybe you may be one of those people that likes Rings of Power because you like what you're seeing there, but the stuff I've been seeing of it is just like, you get the Peter Jackson movies where like the armor, they had armorers making the armor, whereas in Rings of Power it looks like it's like plastic stuff you get from Fisher-Price. That was the thing about the Peter Jackson movies, is like they're obviously not 100% faithful to the books. And I don't think that a movie adaptation does have to be absolutely 100% faithful to the books. But it was one of those things where it's like, the things that were done were in the spirit of Tolkien, which is just not what I feel when I've seen the stuff on Rings of Power. Come on, springs. Specifically, again, clipboards is what I'm looking for here. You'd think that there'd be some clipboards in schools. I remember using clipboards in school. Let's see. Maybe the lantern has a spring in that little section that you twist in order to extend the wick. That'd be more of a screw, wouldn't it? So yeah, I would love to see a faithful adaptation of the Mass Effect universe, because it's easily one of my... There we go, kitchen scale. That's going to have a spring in it. It's easily one of my favorite science fiction universes Just because, like, outside of Element Zero and the effects of that in terms of biotics and stuff like that, I feel like it's a fairly realistic look at science fiction, you know? And even Element Zero and the mass effect that it causes feels like something that could well be something that we discover at some point. Now, not necessarily, I don't think that it's going to be something like Element Zero. I've long thought that we'll eventually develop the ability to manipulate gravity, but it's going to come from some sort of effect of electromagnetics, and that'll be somehow how they end up unifying the fields. But yeah, I mean, I was very hopeful when they discovered the Higgs boson that we were just like years away from manipulating mass, and at that point we'd be into the Mass Effect universe where we'd be turning ships from mass, like turning a like we'd be to the point where we could take like a cargo ship, reduce its mass to that of like a feather, and then just throw that thing into space with a fan. But yeah, so again, hopefully it'll be good. The Fallout TV show has given me a little bit more hope that we're going to see some good things in terms of adaptations of science fiction and fantasy universes in the future, but I'll wait and see on that. Man, I'm not seeing almost anything here that would potentially have a spring in it. You know what? Again, let's see what people say. Giddy up Buttercup parts. Ah, Camp McClintock has a bunch of clipboards, and so does Sugar Grove. That makes sense. Alright, let's go to Camp McClintock, just because that one's easier to get in and out of. Wait, there it is. But yeah, like, and so for one example of like the reasons I love the Mass Effect universe, it's like humans discover that Charon is a mass relay after discovering the research on the Mass Effect at the abandoned Prothean base on Mars. So then, using the mass relay from Charon, they jump out into space and then eventually get to Shanxi, where they end up. Let's see where the clip was. There we go. Where they end up building a new colony. And then they start activating a nearby mass relay, and they're found by the Turians. And the Turians are
Hi again.
rightly
Everything's
worried
fine here.
because
Sarge and I are fine.
there's basically a intergalactic agreement that they don't open up mass relays without knowing what's on the other end of them. After they open up the... Which one was it? No, it's not the Mu relay. The Mu relay goes to... Ilos. But that one was basically originally in the space controlled by, what are they called? The Rachni. But yeah, after they opened up the relay and they found the Rachni on the other end and basically nearly were destroyed, it's one of those things where it's like, you understand why it is they don't open up these mass relays without knowing what's on the other end. But of course, humans weren't a part of the universe at that time, and so humanity gets its ass kicked by Turians, but then the human fleet comes back and kicks the ass of the Turians. And it's one of those things where it's like, I love the concept of like humans coming into contact with aliens, and it's to the point where it's like neither one of us are actually able to just wipe the other one out immediately, and it ends up creating this the situation that leads to diplomacy, and eventually humanity is brought into the galaxy. But it's like, I love that whole concept there. Again, last week I talked a little bit about how much I really enjoyed the premise of Mass Effect Andromeda, of crossing the space between galaxies, going from the Milky Way galaxy to the Andromeda galaxy, and founding an entirely new civilization there. That kind of stuff is fascinating to me. So again, hopefully the Mass Effect TV show will be good. I thought there'd be more clipboards the way it was talked about. And I don't know, maybe I've missed where they are. But I grabbed a few. I've watched a bit of the Three Body Problem. I enjoyed what I saw, but again, it's one of those things where I was drawn off by other things and I simply haven't gone back to it just yet. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed what I was seeing. Let's see, can I... Yep, there we got all the springs that we needed. I want to take a look at the weekly
And all
ones.
that other stuff.
It's one of those things where I'm probably being a moron here, but I have trouble believing that the three-body problem is actually a problem. I don't see... Conceptually, I have trouble believing that it's not a solvable thing. Now, I do question how an advanced civilization can develop. And so my understanding is the three bodies in this case are the stars of the Alpha Centauri system. I could be wrong about that, but we're talking Alpha Centauri A, Alpha Centauri B, or Ptolemy, and Proxima Centauri. And now it's like, because of these three stars, they end up finding themselves fried or frozen, or, yeah, I definitely don't believe the Syzygy version of things, where they get pulled up into space. I don't think that's a thing. I don't know. Given that we can basically solve just about anything with computer simulations these days, I don't see... And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, but you got to keep in mind, it's like every second these things will change. The interactions between these three planets will change. It's like, yes, but again, we have computers that can make billions of calculations a second. So, how is it beyond our capability of modeling the gravitational interactions between three objects? It doesn't seem right to me that that's actually an issue. And again, I know I'm probably being an idiot, because I'm sure plenty of people far smarter than I am that have found this to be an issue. It's just conceptually I have trouble with it. Let's see here. I really like the fact that we're getting science fiction out of other cultures, because this is a three-body problem was from the Chinese, from a Chinese author, I mean. And so I'm glad that we're getting stuff from other groups as well. Let's see. Floaters, Scorched, and Cultist with a shotgun. Okay. It's just, again, conceptually it seems wrong, right? That you can't solve it when we have computers. Like, I get that if we were even 100 years ago, it'd be something where it's like, oh, that's beyond our computational power. Like, you look at World War II, where they actually were having to use those room-sized computers to calculate artillery trajectories. And so it's like, okay, we're going to call this person up. They're going to run this through the computer, and then they're going to get back to us. It's like, yeah, if we were still at that stage of things, how is it still an issue now? Anyway, I'm ranting about something that I'm sure I don't know anything about. Let me go ahead and go to a site with some Scorched, so I can go fight those things. Man, I'm trying to think of areas where you get exclusively Scorched these days, and it feels like those are shrinking. I know I've seen some here fairly recently. Yeah, I actually do want to go through the book as well, because I have not been, like, so the most recent, and when I say read, it's been actually probably a couple of years since I last read a book, but I've been doing audiobooks just because it's way easier to do something like that when I'm driving, when I'm doing some sort of mindless task. I can read a book, so to speak. Sorry, one second here. Getting a message from my wife. The most recent books that I've, again, read were Warhammer 40k books, which has gotten me into that universe, which is unfortunate because I then discovered that there are 500 plus novels, and unless I'm getting them with Audible credits, then they are like $20 a book. And I don't have the, like, $10,000 to spend on those books. I think that's all the Scorched that were here. Let's try down here. I think the power plants are generally filled with Scorched and ghouls, so... but yeah, I definitely do want to do the three-body problem book. And it's one of those things, I would love to get more and more stories out of other cultures. It's like, when I first experienced the Witcher games, I'd never seen a lot of this Eastern European and Polish folklore before, because almost all the folklore that I have consumed has either come from the British Isles, from France and Germany, or from Greece, you know? So it's like Greece and... I don't know about much in the way of folklore from Italy. Other than, you know, the Greek gods that they adopted and gave new names. Let's see. So anytime we can get stories out of other cultures that we've just never seen before, I'm 100% on board with that. Let's say floaters. Scrap pre-war money, we can also do that one easy. I showed this, I think, last time or the time before, but if you ever need cash, the best place in the world to go is the New Appalachian Central Train Yard. But the Wild Hunt, for example. I'd never heard of that before. I only learned about it thanks to The Witcher. Okay, let's see. And it's like Fallout 76, for example, has given me new things to consider. New cryptids and, you know, the tales from the West Virginia hills and stuff like that. Like, I knew about the Mothman, thanks to the Mothman Prophecies movie. But, like the Grafton Monster, the Flatwoods Monster, not things I'd ever encountered before this stuff. Let's see here, what have we got? Where are some saves? There we go, there's a safe that hasn't been opened yet. Okay, there's some cash, 12, let's see here. There's another one. Safes are obviously always going to be your go-to place to find pre-war cash. I do also always love finding just random stuff in these things. It's like, why is that in there? Let's see. This stuff's all fairly reasonable, I'd say. Let's see. But sometimes it'll be like, there's a pipe weapon in here. It's like, wait, what? Unless someone's been using that thing since the war, why? Is that 36 cash? I think I just got out of those 3. Is that just 3 safes? I thought there were more than that. Let's see. Go with the bag. Nope. I may have looted that one already. Let's see here. Other places with cash. Well, Morgantown has a lot of shops. We'll check Southern Morgantown. But yeah, if you haven't encountered Warhammer 40k, that universe, I recommend it. I know I'm late to the game. But so far I've consumed 6 books in that universe. And again, I simply don't have the cash for the 500 plus others at the moment. But, the Gregor Eisenhorn trilogy of books, very interesting. Along with that, the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy, enjoyed those. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that more. And unfortunately, there's this thing about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, where Humble Bundle had like 50 different Warhammer books and a couple of different deals where it was like, spend $25 and get all these Warhammer books, and I was just like, I wasn't into it yet. And then basically almost immediately after that sale ended, that's when I got into it. And it's like, damn it. If you're not aware of Humble Bundle, every time I talk to people about Humble Bundle, nobody seems to have heard about it. The website, humblebundle.com, I think is what it is. Anyway, they sell bundles of books, games, and software that a portion of it goes to the developers or authors and publishers, but then a portion of it also goes to charitable causes. So it's for a good cause. And I've bought at least a half dozen packages. There's a clipboard, and don't need those anymore, off of Humble Bundle before. I've gotten assets for Unreal and Unity games, which I would love to actually be able to use them someday, but it's one of those things of where's the time. I've gotten books of how-to, like in terms of like home repair and stuff like that. I've gotten books on programming. I've bought packages of other software, specifically like drawing up maps and stuff like that. There was a map software one they had on there. They've got all kinds of different bundles of stuff like cookbooks and things like that. Yeah, I'll need to check that out. Thanks, Merlin in Alaska. Welcome to the stream. I definitely will check that out. Libraries with ebooks. Because again, a Warhammer 40k universe, very interesting, but the $10,000 to read all the books, 10,000 plus, is a lot. Let's see here. What am I looking for again? Cash. I don't know. Don't think there's anything in here in terms of cash. Let's check the next door. There we go. Cash register. Here's some pre-war money. Yeah, I need to visit my local library more. Oop. But yeah, Humble Bundle also has like a monthly subscription deal where you subscribe and you get some like 12 games. No, I'm in no way affiliated with Humble Bundle, so this is not some sort of paid advertisement for them. Bank. Let's check and see if they got some pre-war cash in here. If this was Fallout 4, I'd know exactly where to go, which is the bank in Lexington that was being broken into on the day of the bombs. Is there not even... Maybe there's a vault back there behind that blocked door. But yeah, the great thing about Humble Bundle is it's usually basically it's donate whatever you want above the base level, and the money goes towards charity. Again, a portion of it, and you can actually adjust how much of it goes to charity and how much of it goes to the developers or publishers and stuff like that. And there's there's even like a scoreboard sort of a situation where it's like, you can get your name up on there by making a donation. I never do put my name down because you can do it anonymously as well. But it's an incentive if you're somebody who wants to get some recognition for doing something like that. Alright, let's see here. Oop.
Calling all responders. Sanjay here, letting you know that Steel Arsenal will be charged and ready for action. If you're in Morgantown,
There we
go
go.
ahead and activate him so we can check the alarms on the stash rooms. Just make sure he doesn't take too much damage. I've got enough repair work as it is.
There's Sanjay Kumar. I think he was the chief engineer for the responders, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, let's go ahead and go... I think it's scrapping the money is what I have to do with it, and hopefully I've got enough by this point. But yeah, also, if you're into the Warhammer 40k universe, another universe of similar aesthetic to it, kind of, I would recommend is the Red Rising series. I've, again, read audiobooks. The first 3 books of the Red Rising series, I very much enjoyed it. And it's one of those ones where it's like a distant sort of a future, but people do like weird stuff where everything's got like Roman names. And there's like ship battles in space, but it's like ship to ship combat and stuff like that. Whereas like realistic space combat in the future is probably going to be stuff like, oh, you just got hit by a missile from a ship that was launched from the other side of the planet. You never even saw each other. It's an interesting premise where basically I think that the guy got some of his influences. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head. But I think he got some of his influences from Warhammer 40k. And then I think, honestly, a big influence was Khan from Star Trek. And basically his whole background where he's been created by like eugenics programs to create like the Ultraman. Let's see, rubber. Oh, we can go get some rubber. And so basically in this distant future, humanity is separated into different classes by color. And effectively at the top of society are golds. And these are people that are like, I don't remember the exact numbers here, so I'm just going to kind of give you some random stuff here. But it's like 8 feet tall, you know. They have golden hair, golden eyes. They have bones that are as strong as steel. They have minds that can think better than just about anybody else. And they've got technology that allows them to fly and stuff like that. And then at the very bottom of society are the Reds. And these are people that are like 4 or 5 feet tall max. They're people that have, again, red hair, red eyes. They work as miners at the very lowest levels of societies. And again, so it's like, it's got this really interesting setup where they've got an entire society created with all these different groups created with genetic engineering. Let's see here, more rubber here. And the story follows the story of Darrow, who is a Red in the Lycos mining colony on Mars. Let's see here. Let's go to... Wait, I'm just going back here. I would think that's probably enough cash, right? I would hope so, at least. Or not cash, rubber. That was a lot of balls there. But the different colors have different purposes, like the blues all fly ships. And they're kind of like the navigators from the Warhammer 40k series, where the navigators have the third eye on their forehead. The blues are basically made to interface with ships and control them. And their minds are basically oriented towards controlling ships properly. Anyway, let's go ahead and scrap some stuff here. Oh, yeah. That did it on the 30 rubber. Let's see here. Weekly floaters. Or cash. Collect Rad-X or Radaway. Well, the easiest way to do that is to make it. Not drugs, healing. There we go. Let's scrap that. Oh wait, I'm not scrapping it. It's Radaway. Let's see what I've got in terms of this stuff. Do I have? Yes, I've got enough points to buy something else here. So what should I? What is over here? Gotta oh, clicked on the wrong screen. Give it a second there, and we're back. Okay. And what do we got? Looks like the most expensive thing is the wall-mounted walkway, so I'll just get that. Next most expensive thing, reinforced farm wagon and Blue Ridge vending machines. Oh, and the rusted machine gun turret set. Alright, well I guess that'll be the next stuff that I get there. What does this stuff actually look like that I just bought? New. This is the new thing from Fallout First for November. And then, but seriously, what? Sometimes it takes it a minute to update that stuff. I don't think this will actually play anything because I got music turned off. So. Probably is playing something, but seriously, where is this sound coming? Is it the Halloween weather machine, maybe? That seems like it might have been it.
Hold my fingers.
Sounds like the sound is back to normal. Alright, well, I'm going to start to close things down here. Again, if you've got any comments or questions that you want to get in the next couple of minutes here, let me know, and if you could, I'll try to get back to you right now. But just for the future, for what to look forward to in the coming week, the REPCONN lore video and Fallout New Vegas. I'm going to cover both the stuff from Fallout New Vegas and the little bit that we got from the Fallout TV show in terms of Julia Masters, who from Fallout New Vegas we know is the CFO of REPCONN. I need to, like I said last time, figure out exactly when it is that Robco purchased REPCONN, because then that will give us an indication as to when that meeting took place in the Fallout TV show. Although, to be fair, I don't know that we can say that with 100% certainty because, for example, like Sinclair, was in the Fallout TV show, but his character there doesn't really match his character in the game all that well. So we could say that we're getting some information from Fallout New Vegas that'll help us understand the Fallout TV show, but it could well be that they've just gone their own way in terms of they wanted to have a character that had a name that you could find in the game, but it doesn't necessarily match the character in the way they actually were. So it could well be that Repcon in the Fallout TV show was around longer. Anyway, though, again, Repcon lore video, that's next, followed by the Mothman Cult lore video. Now that I have Stephen Scarberry, that character, I can talk fully about the Mothman Cult. In terms of like their history, their locations, the two Mothman cults. Again, also talking about the cult that follows the folks down here in Lucky Hill Mine. So yeah, I'll be talking about all that stuff. And of course the new cultists, or they're not even really okay, so there are cultists that have come in with the update, the Skyline Valley update, but they also, some of them weren't really cultists, they were just using the cultists, so I'll talk about that. Then after that, the Fallout 3 Metro video, which if you haven't heard my pitch on that one before, basically ever since 2008, when Fallout 3 came out, I've never really been comfortable with the Fallout 3 Metro system, just because it's such a tangled weave of a place. So what I've done is I've already mapped the full system. I've drawn it up. But what I want to do is basically introduce you all to the different sections of the Metro, how the Metro connects to itself, the different parts connect, and basically, at some point, I'm going to actually just have to hire somebody to do this at some point, but I'm going to have a channel website at some point, and at that point I will also try to have an interactive map on there of the Metro system, along with the other maps that I've drawn up. But in this case, it would basically be able to tell you, okay, you're trying to get to the mall. Here's the 3 Metro stations you have to go through from your current location, and it should take you, I don't know, 3.5 minutes to get there if you're running at full speed and don't stop to shoot at anything. So that's going to be the kind of thing I'm going to be trying to do there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing that one, because I have definitely learned more about the Metro system in game, how it all connects. And I want to make it so that everybody knows how to use it properly, because it is actually very useful, and really it's not quite as complex as it seems when you're first interacting with it. And then after that, again, I'm going to go to a rotation of videos where it'll be... I don't know exactly what the rotation is going to be. It would make most sense just to do it in the proper order, where it'd be 3 New Vegas, 4 76, and then Starfield. But probably what I'll end up doing is I'll just pick a game and we'll go from there. And at that point, again, there will be a poll on the Discord where you can choose what the next video is going to be on. But yeah. And at some point, who knows, I'm probably going to also do a playthrough of the entire Dragon Age series. I have not touched Veilguard yet, and like I said last time, I've seen some stuff there that has been disconcerting to me in terms of poor quality writing. But I don't know, we'll see. Because again, I'm not going to write it off entirely until I actually play it myself. But for now, it would start with Dragon Age Origins and then go through it from there. So, alright though, I'm going to go ahead and go spend some time with my wife and then get to work tiling. My wife works as a nurse at a hospital at night, and she's finally just woken up, so I'm going to go and check on her, see how she's doing. And I will see you all next Friday. I hope you all have a good weekend and a good week to come. It's been great to hang out with y'all, and again, I'll see you.